Yeah, please.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Take your seat, Divyanshu.
Thank you, sir.
Feel at ease, comfortable, and tell us about yourself.
So my name is Divyanshu Goel. I was born and brought up in Delhi. In 2018, I completed my engineering from Delhi Technological University. For 2 years, I worked as a software developer in Visa INC at Bengaluru. And from then, I have been preparing for the civil services examination.
Okay, so you're not working anymore.
Yes, sir.
So very keen to join the civil services.
Yes, sir.
DTU, that is the Delhi College of Engineering.
Yes,
erstwhile
sir.
Delhi College of Engineering. So very prestigious.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I'll ask the request, ma'am, to.
So I'll begin with something on international matters. You know about India's foreign neighborhood first policy.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you know about it?
Uh,
I mean, briefly, very briefly.
Ma'am, the present government believes that if we have a safe and secure neighborhood, that would enable an environment for India to progress. And we have been proactive in helping the neighborhood countries that are in need in any way.
Which neighborhood countries have you been helping?
Ma'am, for example, we have given close to $4 billion in aid to Sri Lanka to help their economic crisis. Apart from that, ma'am, we have had some engagements with Bangladesh as well.
Some engagements means?
Ma'am, exactly, I'm not aware of the.
Which are our neighbors with whom we have had a good sort of policy?
Yes, ma'am.
Good relations.
Ma'am, we have had good relations with Bhutan. We have had hydroelectric power exchanges with them. With Nepal also, we have had ancient historical and cultural ties. There have been certain tensions, but they have been managed well.
What about the other two neighbors?
Yes, ma'am. With Pakistan, as usual, we have had certain challenges, but the diplomacy is rising up, and they are also facing the internal trouble. So, the LOC has been quite peaceful for some time, and with China, we have had issues in Tawang, Galwan.
Why? Why are the issues there?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the Chinese follow a policy of salami slicing tactics, wherein basically they sometimes try to transgress the borders, and they come in.
Transfer?
They try to transgress the line of actual control and come in direct confrontation.
Why does this keep happening?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, because the border is not demarcated properly in the eastern
That is
sector
the crux.
and in the western sector. The British left the border in a very haphazard manner, and after
But
China.
we've had so many talks on border talks with China.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you feel is the reason that's still ongoing?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, one could be that China is progressing and it has an expansionist nature. It's expanding into the South China Sea, and also here it wants to expand. Whereas India has never been an aggressor. We want to have peaceful relations at our borders.
That's true, but why is this, China not wanting to go ahead and find a solution? Or why are India and China not able to find a solution to this? Would you try to figure out, or could you give an explanation if you know?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, one reason could be because India is an emerging economic power, and India and China are the only two going good powers in South Asia. So there is bound to be confrontation at the borders. So we have to.
There's bound to be.
Basically.
Why? Because we are progressing. We are not attacking them.
Yes, ma'am.
India is not attacking them, but China has been. So what is it? What does it show, or what does it indicate?
Ma'am, it basically indicates a very aggressive nature on part of China.
It wants to keep India down.
Yes, ma'am.
They don't want India to.
They want to keep India's growth in check.
And now, given the shifting geopolitical situation in the world, what is happening? China is now at the number two economy. So now, what do you know something about how its relationship with the US has been up and down?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, there have been basically trade and tariff wars between US and China. And China is going more close to Russia after the Russia-Ukraine war. There is an emergence of the Russia-China axis. And India with Quad has also been engaging with US. Ma'am, Quad is a organization of 4 countries: India, USA, Australia, and Japan, which does not have a very clear mandate, but it talks about all issues related to security, military, growth, economy.
And what is also one of the unstated sort of aspects of Quad?
To have a peaceful Indo-Pacific region.
And free lines of communication.
Yeah, sea lines of communication. Yes, ma'am.
Because China can block or may want to block, since it is, it regards it as its
backyard.
And on the Indian Ocean side also, it seems to be creating sort of maritime, its activities in the Indian Ocean could also, do you think, be a threat to India's maritime security or in general maritime security?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, China has been adopting basically 2 steps of policy: the debt trap diplomacy.
What is debt trap diplomacy?
Ma'am, debt trap diplomacy basically means that they are offering huge loans to developing countries like Sri Lanka, who are situated in the Indian Ocean region, and like in the Hambantota port.
What happened?
This happened that China basically gave a lot of money, and Sri Lankan government was not able to pay it back. So China basically seized those assets, and now it is under Chinese control.
Took it on a 99-year lease and they constructed it themselves. So that is their way,
Yes, ma'am.
And where else have they done this?
Ma'am.
In the neighborhood.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, they have done it in one of the ports in Bangladesh. There's string of pearls.
String of pearls. What is string of pearls?
String of pearls is basically building a necklace around, basically building Chinese military base camps or ports around India's coastline in the Indian Ocean. So Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, I'm not exactly.
Pakistan.
Seychelles, Pakistan, the Gwadar port is there with the Chinese.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Divyanshu, you said British left border in some haphazard manner.
Yes, sir.
Which border you are talking of?
Sir, all the land borders of India, be it the Radcliffe Line or be it the borders with China.
Okay. So all borders were left.
Yes, sir. Basically, they.
Okay. Now tell me about the China border. What wrong was done by the Britishers?
Sir, basically, the Chinese border was settled between the British and the Tibet. But after China acquired Tibet after 1947.
Acquired?
Yes, sir. It made it an autonomous province. Then the border issues started. Basically, it was a conflict between which line to choose, the Johnson line or the McMahon line. So the Chinese.
Johnson or McMahon?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I will come to it later. What do you do outdoors? Your hobbies are, you have mentioned 2 hobbies, both are indoor hobbies. So any activity outdoor that you like doing?
Yes, sir. Sometimes I play football and cricket with my friends.
Okay. And what do you do to keep yourself physically and psychologically in good shape?
Sir, sometimes I hit the gym, but that is not always possible.
So you are not regular here?
Yes, sir. Not regular.
Do you feel there is a need to be regular?
Yes, sir. Definitely. Fitness is.
How is 5G different from 4G?
Sir, in 5G, there is low latency. 4G has a latency of about 30 milliseconds. Latency is basically the time lag between the request and the response of a signal. So 4G has about 30 milliseconds, while 5G has reduced it to 1 millisecond.
Okay.
Also, the speed of data transfer in 5G is very high. 5G offers a better capabilities like network slicing. Based on the usage, different bands can be assigned within 5G.
So these are some very special services in which 5G is of use. So is it a good? Does it make a good sense to introduce 5G for common wireless connectivity for the day-to-day users?
Yes, sir. Sir, 5G has three bands. At all India level for common everyday users, the lower band spectrum, which has been sold at the highest auction price, that will be mostly rolled out. And for the in metro cities where the infrastructure is better, the high band spectrum, which is actually called the true 5G, which can have two
But don't
5G
you think it
speeds.
will be such an economic burden because the entire ecosystem will change?
Uh,
Every school-going child will ask his or her parent for a new mobile phone, 5G-enabled mobile phone.
Sir, it is not that much of an economic expenditure as it would bring in the gains. 5G will open up a plethora of new technologies that will help our economy grow. For example, remote surgeries is a reality with 5G.
Okay. Tell me from the point of view of youngsters, school-going youngsters, college-going youngsters, day-to-day users, housewives, office-goers, what extra they will get from 5G, which they are not getting with 4G?
So better speeds is only thing I can think of. Better speeds,
Only better speed,
low call drop.
low call drop.
Yes, sir. And
Call drop, you think, has to do with 3G, 4G, 5G? Or call drop is something else?
sir, I am exactly not aware of this matter.
5G is in news, and you are a IT professional. You did your BTech. So be better prepared. Hmm? Now, talking of the 5G, it is said that with the help of 5G, sitting in Delhi, we can control an autonomous car anywhere on the globe, maybe in Sweden or US or anywhere. What is this?
So basically, it talks about autonomous self-driving cars. So we can basically control it with the help of a 5G connection. If we have, the speeds will be so fast that. But
You
autonomous.
want to be an IPS officer also?
Yes, sir.
So security and safety.
Yes, sir.
Hmm? So a terrorist sitting in Afghanistan can control an autonomous car somewhere in Sweden and ram it in the wherever he wants.
Yes, sir. So, sir, we need to have the cyber security infrastructure in place so that proper authentication and authorization is given to each user who controls remote devices.
Fine. This is a possibility. The strong economies can do it.
Yes, sir.
But what about the weak economies? How will they be safe and secure from such kind of adventure? Misadventure. The weak economies.
Sir, I think the developed world will have to help them to develop their capacity so that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. You are a Delhi boy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There is a Delhi metro.
Yes, sir.
There also there is a talk of driverless metros.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, you have given enthusiastic response.
Yes, sir.
Is it a good idea?
Yes, sir. Sir, already driverless metro exists on the Pink Line.
Fine. Now tell me, is it a good idea?
Sir, metro is a system which runs isolated on tracks, and we have done the required pilot projects. And driverless metros can be, because it increases efficiency. Human beings, if they are there, they are bound to be less efficient than technology. So,
You believe that human beings, wherever human beings are there, the efficiency thing will suffer?
yes, sir. I believe that machines and technology are more efficient than humans.
So if you allow machine and technology to replace human beings, then what will human beings do?
Sir, they have to be upskilled to use that technology in a better manner.
But then we have replaced them.
Yes, sir. In this particular case.
They're everywhere.
Yes, sir.
We can keep replacing. There are autonomous robot which will, even sweep the floors in the airports, and
Yes,
they
sir.
are being deployed to even sweep the floors in the airports.
Yes, sir.
So what do the human beings do?
Yes, sir.
And all human beings cannot be, top skilled.
Yes, sir.
It's a simple distribution curve.
Yes, sir.
Only 5 to 10% will be top skilled. Another 70 to 80 or 90%, what will they do?
Yes, sir.
Gave a good answer.
Sir, in 2020, World Economic Forum came up with a report titled Future of Jobs, which said that AI automation will definitely disrupt jobs. It gave a number of 83 million. But it also said that during the next decade till 2030, 97 million more jobs will be created. But sir, as you said, they will be in the higher skill spectrum. So low skills jobs are at a very high threat of getting eliminated by AI and automation. So the only thing that I can think of is to upskill the people and
Okay. Yeah, please.
Okay, Divyanshu. What is prisoner's dilemma?
So prisoner's dilemma is a game in game theory which talks about a situation where a policeman has captured two prisoners and he has taken them to separate rooms for interrogation. Now it talks about an optimal strategy where if the two prisoners cooperate with each other, they would be better off. But they do not have trust or communication lines in between them. And so the Nash equilibrium for this situation is that they defect, that they...
Okay, right. How is prisoner's dilemma seen in 4th years in college?
In 4th year of college. Sir, I think during the placement season, it can be seen, whereas if everyone cooperates and tries to solve the questions and study together, they would be better off. But the competition in the placement season becomes so high that each tries to go into silos and study individually.
Do you think it's still valid for UPSC?
Yes, sir. UPSC can be modeled on the...
Okay. Can you give an example of international relations problems which can be solved by game theory?
Yes. Sir, in the 2018 Doklam crisis with China, we can apply the chickens game, where the Chinese army and the Indian army were face to face with each other, and there was a standoff, and no one was trying to back down. So if we use that game theoretic model, and basically it's theoretical, it cannot, I'm not sure whether it can be applied on ground, but both the armies can be brought on diplomatic tables and shown that it is better that...
Okay. Game theory came into vogue in international relations during the Cold War.
Yes, sir.
So can you talk about that?
Yes, sir. Cold War was basically an era where most of the war was regarding mind games, and there was a lot of negotiation, bargaining, and nuclear threats were given, but they were not actualized. So whenever such situations happen, game theory automatically comes into picture.
Okay. Give an example of blockchain being used in administration.
Sir, in Maharashtra's Gadchiroli district, ST certificates, scheduled tribe certificates, have been issued on blockchain.
Okay. And can you talk about the recent advances in AI, right? The conversational AIs and all? Yeah.
Yes, sir. So conversational AI is basically a chatbot or something like ChatGPT, which has recently come out, which can talk in a human-like manner, generate human-like content, poetry, art, and even images. So it is very difficult to distinguish them from what a human has created or what a machine has created.
Okay. Give an example of ICT in government.
In
Government.
Sir, in government, we have multiple examples: the Jandhar, Aadhaar, Mobile Trinity, the CoWIN app to distribute vaccines, the Umang app for EPFO, the Jeevan Praman.
What challenges do you think are there?
Sir, these all come under the India Stack umbrella, And the challenges are that we do not have enough developer strength and the ecosystem to support these apps. Also, sometimes the quality of these apps is questioned. For example, in Arogya Setu, it was said that the contact tracing was not accurate and appropriate. So, yes, sir.
Right, Divyanshu. Thank you.
Divyanshu, you mentioned ChatGPT.
Yes, sir.
What is ChatGPT?
So ChatGPT is a chatbot made by a company called OpenAI, which if we basically it can interact with humans in a very human-like manner, that as if we are chatting to a human sitting on the other end of the computer.
What are some of the concerns that have come up after ChatGPT was introduced?
Sir, one of the concerns was that it was being used to write malicious code, which was used in phishing or hacking attempts. Sir, another concern was regarding plagiarism. Some public schools in New York have banned ChatGPT in their schools because children can simply input the homework questions and get the answers and just copy paste them and give it to them. So these are the...
Okay. So how do we bring in artificial intelligence to improve our efficiency or better our administration?
Sir, AI in administration, sometimes it is recommended that we can bring in justice delivery system so that the lower district judiciary, the judgments which are very automatic, like certain imposition of fines, which do not involve much human discretion, they can be done by AI in very petty civil matters. Apart from that, sir, AI in administration. Sir, automatic dispersal of public distribution system in the food ration shops, that can be done by an AI. We do not manually need a person sitting over there. Apart from that, Manrega wages is something that I can think.
Okay. Can you talk about the digital payment landscape in India?
Yes. So, sir, we have many players on the government side as well as the private side. On the government side, we have an entity called the NPCI, which has products like the AEPS, Aadhaar-enabled payment system, the UPI, which is seeing more than 7 to 8 billion transactions per month. Apart from that, we have the RuPay card, which are being given to the Jan Dhan account holders as well as to the as Kisan credit cards to the farmers. This is on the government side. Also, RBI has traditionally has NEFT and RTGS. Also, recently, sir, there is a FASTag for toll collection, automatic toll collection. And if we look at the private side, there are a lot of new emerging fintechs which have new technologies like peer-to-peer lending, buy now, pay later scenarios where the digital payment ecosystem has benefited.
Can you give me 3 challenges the sector faces?
The digital payments. So first is with respect to the data protection of because payments contains a lot of personally identifiable information and its security needs to be ascertained. So second is the frauds that are happening with digital payments. We have seen, for example, recently in news, a certain town called Jamtada was highlighted where cyber frauds were happening. And sir, third, digital payments is the digital literacy and digital divide, that not everyone is able to access it. The poor who are in the villages, they are not able to access it properly.
Thank you.
Okay, Divyanshu, you are fond of Sudoku.
Yes, sir.
Is it your daily habit, solving a Sudoku?
Yes, sir. Whenever.
Okay, so how much time do you take to solve a medium level Sudoku problem?
Sir, if it's a 3-star, which we generally consider a medium level, I can solve it, I think, in around 10 minutes.
And which is the fastest solver of Sudoku? Are you aware of?
So in the world?
In the world, yeah.
Sir, I am not aware.
Can you make a guess how much time did it take to solve a medium level Sudoku? There was a
Sir, I think it can be under 30 seconds.
under 30 seconds. Yes, you're too optimistic. So Divyanshu, I see that you're fond of watching web series.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so which web series was the last you saw?
So the last I recently saw, like just one episode of the Upahar tragedy that is out on Netflix. Yes, sir. Apart from that, I have seen.
Which series you have liked the best so far?
Sir, in terms of comedy, I like The Office the most. Apart from that, sir, Delhi Crime, Panchayat.
What exactly did you like in Panchayat?
Sir, in Panchayat, it shows the grassroots reality of an Indian village, that a Panchayat secretary from an urban area goes and tries to administer, and how he comes in contact with the social values and the norms prevalent there.
Have you ever been to a village?
Sir, not specifically, but yes, I have been to many cities as a tourist. So in between, I have seen many villages.
So can you tell me of a model village or a standard Indian village? What are the problems people generally face in a village?
So the problem is basically Indian villages are entrenched in the caste system. They have a lot of patriarchy is also present. Women usually do not have that much freedom in a village scenario. Apart from that, there could be, but this is not the case all over. Indian villages are very varied and diverse. We have had villages also, for example, in Northeast, where we have matriarchal systems where the women are dominant. Yes, sir. Apart from that, sir, basic literacy levels and sometimes sanitation, employment is a challenge in villages. They are forced to go for Manrega jobs because they do not have enough employment opportunities. Agriculture is not very remunerative. Most of the farmers are small and marginal farmers, and they are not able to get substantial profits out of agriculture.
Okay, you are an engineer from a very prestigious institution. So if I say that engineers like you, for example, if you join the civil services, or engineers like you, if they join the civil services, they will make a better civil servant. What is your opinion about it?
Yes, sir, I think that engineers know how to solve problems in an optimized manner, and they can be suited well to administration. In the recent past, we have seen that around 20 to 25% of the administrative officers selected are from engineering background. So, in general, I think we can say that engineers are good administrators.
The basis for saying so is so many people have qualified in the civil services, but they haven't proved themselves yet.
So we have had examples also for like people who have had engineering backgrounds and are retired, some distinguished civil servants.
People from the history background also have done well. People from pol science also have done well. Okay, doesn't matter. Anthropology, what exactly you learn in anthropology? I just fail to understand what exactly.
Sir, anthropology basically studies a human being in a holistic manner across time and space. So it studies about their biology, about their social life, about culture. Culture is a very important aspect, and how they their linguistic, the language that they use. So entire 360-degree analysis of human beings, right from evolution from Homo erectus to Homo sapiens and to our present being, is studied in.
Okay, so if I ask you to name 3 events, incidents in the evolution of the Homo sapiens, 3 important events, which one you will point out?
So first, I think would be around 5 lakh years ago with Australopithecus becoming bipedal. So we...
I don't know these terms. Please can
Yes, sir. So from a 4-pedaled animal, we became bipedal. Our hands became free. This is the first. Sir, second is, it is said that around 3 lakh years ago, humans had some sort of genetic mutation, and developed a capacity for language. Second, and sir, third would be I think increase in cranial capacity. Cranial capacity is basically our skull.
Okay, fine. Now, as a district magistrate, what are the laws you are supposed to know? What are the laws you will be frequently using?
Yes, sir. So CRPC is one. Apart from that, sir, the local state government and the state government laws in which the district is there.
Can you name some?
For example, Prevention of SC/ST Atrocities Act is one. The NDPS Act, Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act is one. Sir, if there are forests, although forests fall under the Forest Service domain, but DM can also look into
now
it.
CRPC was amended in 73. Prior to 73, the DM also used to have a judicial power. They used to try like a court. In 73, this power was taken off from the Indian Administrative Service. So now, is the district magistrates court a criminal court also?
Sir, I am not exactly aware, but probably it is not.
Probably it is not. You're not sure about it. Okay, now FIR. Why there is reluctance in lodging of an FIR at a police station? What could be the reasons?
So the reasons that we see at ground level are, firstly, it adds to the workload of the police. Sir, secondly, there is some sort of petty corruption existing. So the policeman asks for bribe for an FIR to be lodged.
Anything else you can think of? Any other reason you can think of?
The only reason, so if an FIR is against some prominent person, then the police would be hesitant.
Now, most of the time you have spent in Delhi and you have worked in Bangalore. So if I ask you to compare Delhi and Bangalore, what are the similarities you see and what are the differences?
So similarities, both are metro cities, both have a high per capita income, and both have a very urban outlook. And if we talk about the differences, Bangalore, sir, I felt that it is more IT city. So a lot of migrant youth comes there to work. Whereas in Delhi, it is the seat of the government and the judiciary. So a lot of senior people are here in terms of age, if we compare. Also, in Bangalore, we have a lot of that the nightlife is more happening there. There are a lot of, whereas Delhi sleeps at around 12 to 1 in the night. So, sir, apart from that, sir, if we talk about culture, in culture, Delhi has a very basically a Punjabi and a Mughal influence in their culture. Whereas in Bangalore, there is the traditional Kannadiga, and that impacts the food, the language, as well as the dress.
Okay, now in Delhi, since you are a Delhi boy, so in Delhi you are seeing that right now there's a lot of tussle going on between the LG and the CM as such. Main problem is that the Delhi Chief Minister wants that transfer posting of IAS and IPS officers should come into his hands. So do you think that the police can be given to the Delhi state government?
Sir, I don't think it will be a good idea. Delhi has a special status. It is the capital of the country. So Delhi police should directly be controlled as it is being done by the MHA. Because there are a lot of buildings which are of national importance, which are of central importance. So it is better that the center manages them instead of Delhi government.
Why? This is any state government can also do that. There are many important buildings in other states also. They are managing it.
Yes, sir. But sir, center should have a space of its own, a force of its own, and Delhi is the only seat where it has that.
So you think that we should? Now, my last question to you. Now, since this GST thing has come, okay. So now, what is the source of revenue for a state government? Apart from their share from the GST SGST, whatever is there. Anything else which they can do to get some more revenue, some more money?
So certain items that are not under GST, for example, alcohol is one. Apart from that, electricity is also not under GST. Sir, apart from that, I think special compensation cess is paid to states to account for the shortfall.
My last question, since you are anthro student, what is this LGBTQIA? Or what exactly is? Do you know the full form of?
Yes, sir.
Every-
So it stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex, queer, and asexual. And plus means all the other people who do not fall into these categories.
So why this particular thing is in news recent?
Sir, this is in news because firstly, we recently had an LGBT parade in Delhi. The Supreme Court is advocating that we should have rights for them. The Supreme Court has said that LGBT family will be considered a normal family.
What is your opinion about it?
Sir, my opinion is that LGBT are one of the marginalized sections of the society, and someone should not be discriminated on the basis of their sexual orientation or gender orientation.
Thank you. Your interview is over. Now I'll ask my co-panelists to give their feedback, how you have fared.
Thank you, sir.
I'm giving
please,
it
please,
to you.
Siri.
I'm giving it. We'll give it one by one, and then you can ask questions if you have.
Ma'am, can I bring my copy?
No, no. It's all recorded. No? It's being recorded. You'll get it.
You will get video clip.
You still want to have some paper? Can we?
Divyanshu, just a few things. Overall, you were answering at least in my area, you were answering. Overall, also, you were answering quite well, but you tended to go beyond what is asked. And so when you do that, then, you lead the panelists to ask you more questions, the board member to ask you more questions. Like you came up with a string of pearls and other things, So I kept asking you on things. I went away from the main question. You took me away from the main question. So avoid that. Try and limit yourself to the question and brief answers with a little more focus, and a little more brushing up on your facts will be good for you. And a lot of, you have confidence. You're you answered quite well. Modulation is okay. And I found that overall you are a good candidate, and you need to just do some brushing up. That's all. And get your mind a little more focused. Overall, I think you'll perform well. All the very best. Yeah.
So,
दिव्यांशु, आपका इंटरव्यू कब है?
So 6th March.
6th March. So you still have sufficient time. As ma'am told you, just shared with you, there are 3 elements when you are answering. You need to understand the question. Your answer should be tailor-made to the question. All right. It needs to be focused, it needs to be crisp, and it needs to be to the point. What is happening with you is, first thing, you are good, rather very good. Now you have to focus on the gap areas where you need to improve upon. You tend to say what is not at all required. Like this string of pearls. And then you suddenly mention Gwadar Airport. Now Gwadar is a different thing. It is not part of, to my knowledge, it is not part of this concept of string of pearls. So it gives a wrong impression that either you are not understanding the question, or you don't know what Gwadar has to do with. Gwadar is part of that economic corridor. You know that economic corridor? What is that economic corridor?
China-Pakistan Economic Corridor.
Yeah. So if there is a question on CPSC, then you also mention Gwadar and say the importance of Gwadar. Likewise, when we are talking of border, China border. So in a totally unrelated manner, you mentioned Johnson, then you mentioned McMahon. All right. No, this kind of error should not happen because it is a border which remains in news all the time, and more so recently. In last 2 years or so, it is always in the news. So when you are coming for this level of interview, you need to understand what is McMahon line, what is Johnson line. Johnson is not the only line. There are 2-3 lines. Or don't make this sweeping statements like Britishers left border in a haphazard manner. हिस्टोरिकली इंडिया भारतवर्ष एक कॉन्सेप्ट रहा है, ये मॉडर्न नेशन स्टेट के अनुसार इसका कोई बॉर्डर नहीं था. बे ऑफ बंगाल, अरेबियन सी, हिमालयाज. तो इट्स ए जनरल बॉर्डर, हिमालयाज. But Himalayas are not a narrow line. It's a mountain range. There is a lot of areas which is trans-Himalayan, which is beyond Himalayas, which is also part of India. Entire Ladakh is trans-Himalayan. Entire Lahore Spiti is trans-Himalayan. Aksai Chin is trans-Himalayan. So when I will come back to what I said, आंसर शुड बी फोकस्ड. जो पूछा गया केवल जवाब उसके अनुसार दो. अननेसेसरी अनरिलेटेड चीज मत दो. यू विल डैमेज योर चांसेस. इट शुड बी क्रिस्प. इट शुड नॉट बी ओपन एंडेड काइंड ऑफ थिंग कि आपने कुछ जॉनसन भी बोल दिया, कुछ मैकमॉन लाइन भी बोल दिया, कुछ ग्वादर भी बोल दिया, कुछ और चीजें बोल दी. तब ये होगा कि यू आर नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग दिस, यू आर ऑल्सो नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग दिस. एंड योर आंसर शुड बी, you need to finish your answer in a reasonable time. All right. Their ordinarily interview will run for 30 to 40 minutes. There will be 5, including chairman. So every member will interact with you for 5 to 6 minutes on average, or somebody may interact for a little 1 or 2 minutes extra. And everybody will like to have 2, 3, 4 questions with you. Some interaction with you. So if you don't, if you wait to be stopped in your answer, that's not thing. You should yourself know, मेरा आंसर कितना है, मुझे कहाँ पे रुक जाना है. It will give the opportunity to the board member to put a supplementary or switch to a next topic. Okay. Otherwise, you are well prepared. Focus on these gap areas. You will do much better. Then you can plan for 200 plus kind of thing. All right. Okay.
Okay. So see, Divyanshu, today was like a 170, 180. Okay. The reason was you were letting the interview get extended for, right? There are areas where you're strong. Let the interview go there and stay there. Right? Now what was happening was the interview went longer than what it should normally go. What will happen if you give the 5 panelists a longer time period to question you? Your marks can go down. You can make a mistake. So it's better than, right, that once you feel the interview has gone decently well, you try to stop the interview, right, by not answering questions which don't go to your core strengths. Like, what is your core? Basically, IT, right? Game theory, Sudoku, web series, right? That's it. And some job-related questions. Anything else, if you don't answer, people will not, really create a problem for you, right? They're not going to really deduct marks for that, right? Okay, so that's one thing. So that's one. You should get selected. So that's not a problem there, right? But your scores will decide whether you get the IAS or the IPS or, you'll go, below that. That is the thing, right? Otherwise, looks fine.
I think Divyanshu, most of the things have been covered. Your strength areas are very, very strong. So just focus on them.
Thank you, sir.
Before you enter, you will be already on a very high pedestal, because one goes through your DAF. We see your class 10th marks, class 12th marks, an engineer, IT engineer from a Delhi College of Engineering. I'm using Delhi College of Engineering because in my time it was Delhi College of Engineering. So these three things make you a wonderful candidate before you enter. So we will place you at a very high pedestal, suo motu, initially. So you have to maintain that standard. That is very important. Because if you make mistakes there, then the downfall will be exponential. So keep that in mind. As has been pointed out by my colleagues here, you got to be precise, understand the question exactly, what exactly is being asked. And what I felt that at times you could have waited for a few seconds, thought about the question, thought about the answer, then started answering. What I felt that most of the cases you immediately start answering. If you're very sure about it, fine, there is absolutely no problem. But if you have to formulate something, then it will be better that at least in one or two cases, you give a pause, collate your thoughts, and then you start answering. Otherwise, your performance is very good, you're excellent candidate. There is no reason that why you will not be selected if you have done well in the written. Okay? So these are the basic things which I thought I should point out. The district magistrate thing which I said, what you said was correct. CRPC is the first thing. The next important thing for a district magistrate are the land laws of that particular place where he is posted. Other things, of course, anything comes under the purview of the district magistrate. But these are the two basic things. CRPC is the most used code which as a DM you will be using. And you should be aware of the land laws of that particular state, whichever it is. As has been pointed out, because bureaucrat is supposed to be precise, to the point, and should be balanced. Only place which I found that when I asked you that, as in, will engineers make a better civil servant? There, I think the answer should have been, even the people from other fields, other domains can also be a better civil servant. Because this shows your bias towards a particular set of discipline. Okay? Whereas it is expected from a bureaucrat that you should be absolutely balanced, unbiased. Okay? So keep that in mind. Baki rest, you're free to assess a question and then you answer. Your articulation, everything is very good. Your presentation is very good. And from now onwards, please focus on what is happening around. Apart from your DAP points, as Sir has pointed out, those are the areas in which any weakness will not be appreciated. But in other areas, if you say, I do not know, will not hamper your score as such. So from now onwards, read newspapers. I will say, don't only read, you study the newspaper like a textbook. More important points you jot down every day and maintain that, because as you said, your interview is in March. So you have got plenty of time. So especially the budget will be placed before that. So you must know about the budget, what is there, and so that you will come to know on 1st of February. And the most important is the newspaper. And if you are reading a financial newspaper, that will be a better thing. If you are not reading, I will suggest that you add one financial newspaper also. Okay. All the best. Anything you want to ask? Anything you want to ask?
Sir, any source for IR, crisp source?
Crisp source for IR.
Yeah, why we all and all on the, it's all on the internet these days. So
IR, International Relations. You read Indian Express, you read Hindu, you read a financial newspaper like Economic Times or Financial Times or whichever you like. And on the net, you can go to, there are, some very good commentators. One of them is Shekhar Gupta. It is very popularly known person. He was earlier editor-in-chief of Indian Express. You will find he makes videos on most of the current topics. So you can listen to them Then there is which I have found useful for is Vion, WION. On that, you can go on YouTube and you can then search. You click the Vion this link, so it will throw up the Vion that channel. Then you go into their library and you select the topic which is of your interest and you read them. Okay. About your appearance when you enter, your hand should be on your side, not tight, just comfortable. वो कोट का बटन पकड़ के अंदर नहीं आना है कि अभी जैसे मुझसे कहा जाएगा मैं खोलूंगा.
That is one thing which is I don't know what.
ठीक लगता है आपको कहीं कुछ बताएगा, ऐसे नहीं आते हैं. यू विल वॉक नॉर्मल वे. ना तो आप पीछे बांधोगे हाथों को, ना आगे बांधोगे. हैंड्स ऑन योर साइड. यू वॉक द नॉर्मल वे. रीच द chair. You are focused. You are looking toward the board. You will greet board and board will respond. Then chairperson will ask you to take the seat. At this moment, when you are taking the seat, you quickly just open the button and sit down. उसको खोल बैठ कर लो, ऐसे नहीं करना है. All right, you did like this. तो ये थोड़ा सा ड्रिल अपना ठीक कर लो. 2, my last observation. You are going to become an administrator. Then policy making. You start as a small issues policy maker at the district level, then you go to the state level, then you come to the central level. So आपका दोनों होना चाहिए, प्रो एंड कॉन्स. तो जब 4G की बात हो रही है, ऑटोनोमस कार्स की बात हो रही है, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस की बात हो रही है, तो डोंट टॉक लाइक एन एक्टिविस्ट. You are an technology graduate. You know a lot on the technology side. But when a thing has to be implemented, you need to have both pro and cons. And you need to have a balanced view. So your answer should also be accordingly balanced. आप जब जवाब दीजिए, जैसे कि मैंने आपको बोला वो दैट ड्राइवरलेस मेट्रो, तो दोनों बात बोलिए कि ऑटोनॉमस होगा तो एफिशिएंसी बढ़ेगी, पंक्चुअलिटी बढ़ेगी, लेकिन उसका कोई फ्लिप साइड भी होगा. फ्लिप साइड ये उसका है कि ऑटोनॉमस मेट्रो में भी ड्राइवर होता है. इट इज नॉट विदाउट अ ड्राइवर. ड्राइवर इज स्टिल देयर टू टेक केयर ऑफ द इमरजेंसीज. तो इस तरह से जब आप कहिएगा ना, तो योर आंसर विल बी कंप्लीट. अदरवाइज यू टेंड टू साउंड लाइक एन एक्टिविस्ट, a technology activist. You're getting my point? You need balancing. You can do better, you can be in the final list.
Anything else you want to know? You should be prepared for difficult situation questions, because तुम्हारा जो performance पहले member जब बात करेंगे, by that time people will realize कि नहीं ये बंदा बहुत अच्छा है. So they will try to put you maybe in a very uncomfortable situation and an uncomfortable question जिसका आंसर बड़ा ही, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल अभी जो डिबेट चल रहा है कॉलेजियम के बारे में, व्हाट इज योर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, या 370 का जो वहाँ से रिमूवल हुआ कश्मीर से, वाज इट प्रॉपर्ली इम्प्लीमेंटेड, डिड गवर्नमेंट डू एक्सेसेस, मतलब इस तरह कुछ भी पूछा जा सकता है. कैन बी ऑन हिजाब, एनीथिंग टू unnerve you. Don't get unnerved. That's most important. Maintain your cool, and it's not necessary that you give a politically correct answer. ठीक है, उसमें उस ट्रैप में भी मत फंसिए कि politically correct बोलना है because government की ये policy है. You can have your independent thought, but as sir said, everything has a plus and minus. So you mention both the things, and then whatever is your point of view. ठीक है, keep that in mind. You'll do well. You've done well.
All the very best.
टाइम है, उसका टाइम का यूज करो.
All right, all the best.